तुझे देखा तो ये जाना सनम, प्यार होता है दीवाना सनम.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Tara, Nitin. It has been a great day today. So आज हमारे साथ एक ऐसे सीनियर हैं जिनका इंट्रोडक्शन करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है और वो मेरे रोल मॉडल रहे हैं फ्रैंकली. और मोस्ट वेलकम रासू बॉस all the way from US. He's with us today and welcoming you here.
Thank you, Faisal. Thank you, Faisal. बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है ऐसे मिलकर. It's been such a long time since we last interacted. और अभी यही बात कर रहे थे ये interview start होने से पहले कि बिल्कुल change ही नहीं हुआ, Faisal. You're exactly the same. Exactly the same. And Tara, it's such a pleasure to meet you. I really appreciate all the effort that you've been putting into this work, and I'd love to dive deeper into all of the things that you're doing.
Welcome, boss. Welcome.
Thank you for that. Thank you for the introduction.
Yep.
Tara.
So
Yes.
my strongest memory about Rasu boss is that he used to ride a Splendor bike. He used to have a stethoscope around his neck always, and which had engraving of Rasu Bikram on it.
Yes.
He used to wear a T-shirt with a sun on his, and Rasu written on it. And his brother had a counterpart of that T-shirt,
Yes.
as he told me.
Yes, that's
So
right.
let's go ahead. Let's start with the interview. And the first question will be to you, boss. That what was your journey in LLRM? How would you summarize it in a short way?
So journey in LLRM and then from LLRM to here, I think was the
Yes.
Well, I appreciate the question. It's LLRM was it seems like it was such a long time ago. Like in memories, abhi bhi kafi fresh hai. LLRM ka, as you know, I was in the 92 batch, and LLRM में admission होने से पहले मैं इंडिया में कभी गया नहीं था. I'd never been to India before. और मेरा हिंदी बिल्कुल खराब था, अभी भी इतना अच्छा नहीं है. But still, in the 7 years that I spent in India, I definitely learned Hindi well, I think, and I managed to interact with not just the patients but with a lot of people, and we'll talk more about that in our conversation today. लेकिन LLRM में जितना भी experiences था, memories था, those will always be so special in our heart. That's the reason we're talking today. When I finished in LLRM, after that I was in Delhi for a while, Safdarjung Hospital, Ram Mangal Hospital, RML Hospital. But soon thereafter, I went to Brunei, which is where I grew up in Southeast Asia. So Brunei, Singapore, Malaysia, that part of the world was where I grew up. And but before that, we got married. So as you might know, my classmate Ruchi Kapoor is now Rasu Shrestha. She and I got married, in 2000, in April 2000, in Kathmandu, Nepal. And then we went to Brunei together, and we were working there in the hospital in Brunei, in radiology. And it was a lot of fun, while working and all of that. We were preparing for our USMLE and, all of that. It was quite the journey from there to London. I got trained in informatics, radiology informatics in London, Imperial College, and Hammersmith Hospital, St. Mary's Hospital. It was a lot of fun there. Uske baad, US में आ गए. And that was really interesting. US में आने का journey भी काफी interesting था. And Faisal, you might remember this, but back in the day when I used to always dream about coming to the US, for me that was always my go-to destination. I'd always dreamt of that. I get.
I get.
And Los Angeles में था पहला. We were there for about 7 years in Los Angeles at USC, University of Southern California. And after that, went to Pittsburgh. I got recruited to University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. We were there for 12 years. I had a lot of fun in Pittsburgh. You know, our first child, his name is Rohan. He's now a 10th grader here in high school here in Charlotte, North Carolina. He was born in Los Angeles, in Pasadena. And then our second son was born in Pittsburgh. So we were in Pittsburgh for 12 years. And then about 4.5 years ago, we were recruited to Charlotte, North Carolina. So that's where we are right now. So that's been the journey, and it's been a fun journey going from one city to another city, continually, hopefully making progress, but also at the same time, just living life. That's what this is all about, right?
Yes. That's great, sir. It's so nice to know about you, because I heard it through Dr. Faisal Boss only, that regarding you, that you were one of the one of the finest editor, and I think he got inspiration by you, and we've been always inspired by Faisal Boss. So, and thanks a lot for, even when we are thinking about this EBlast forum, and I think you also one of the editors who really supported this idea. And today we are here. We have done this will be our coming 4th edition, and we are looking at this. So it's a much pending catch up, but thanks a lot for guiding us. So, what is your memory of your first day of your college?
Yeah, first day of the college. It was also the first time that I was, in Meerut and such, and it was really interesting. I came from Nepal. I actually lived in Brunei for most of my life at that point, and for me it was really, really eye-opening. Right? I was just soaking everything in, but I was going in really with an open mind, an open heart, and open arms to all of the experiences that life was throwing at me at that point. I was also new to the country. I didn't know the language, I didn't know the culture too much, and all of that. So for me, it was really interesting. I had the fortune of being taken there by an uncle of mine. So he had, graciously come in from Kathmandu, and he took me from Delhi to Meerut, and I remember it was really amazing just to soak in all of those experiences. But it's those experiences, it's those memories that we carry forward, right? Yeah, those friendships that we formed earlier on in LLRM, and after that as well. It's those things that really make us who we are today.
Anything funny, sir? If you remember anything other than the soaking in, anything interesting being a first you could share?
Yeah, so lots of funny things, obviously, but what was most breathtaking for me was the fact that वहाँ पे ragging होता था, right? and for me, that was a new concept. I'm like, what is this? Ragging क्या होता है? And for me, and Faisal, you know this, there are different categories and different things that people get clustered into in our batches, right? And I was in the nominee category, right? So I was this nominee person that came in, and I'm like, nominee kya hota hai? I didn't know what that was, and I'm not about categorizing people. I'm not about boxing people or labeling people. That is not me at all, right? And I'm like, okay, but the good side to, I guess, being a nominee is that I guess you get ragged less, or maybe you don't get ragged, or whatever it is, right? But it was really interesting for me as to really think about all of this ragging that was going on, and I was like, what is going on here? I just could not understand it.
तो बस फर्स्ट ईयर का कुछ ऐसी मेमोरी बताइए जो आप मतलब it's imprinted on your mind, कुछ मैनुअल्स बनाए हो आपने रैगिंग के नाम पे, कुछ आपने ऐसा काम किया? Tell me about it.
So many great memories, and I, again, I'm just smiling ear to ear that I'm, having this opportunity to talk to you after all of these, after all of these years. I've
same here.
So much fondness for you as a person, as an artist,
likewise,
and really as a solid human being. So this mutual
thank you.
Brotherhood is strong.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Tell me about something about your first year.
So back to your question though, first year में बहुत सारा memories था. One of the earlier memories was, I needed to get around, and वहाँ पे, there I am at the boys hostel, right? In the new boys hostel in JB, right? You remember those? And then class में late होता था, right? And we had to, run to the class. So I ended up buying a bicycle. It was a bike.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, and it was a bit of a, at that point, these types of bikes had just started coming, I think, to India. Kind of a mix between a racer and a mountain bike. And I had so much fun riding the bike around. And I think I started a trend, because right after that, it was almost like it gave permission to some others to also, bring their bikes and such.
yeah.
And, there were a number of people who were also local to Meerut, who used to come in, as you know, in their scooters or in their motorbikes and such. And I was really thinking about buying, a bike, or maybe getting a car and whatnot. I thought, you know what? For me, the biggest, most important thing coming in as a nominee, coming in as a foreigner into this place that I'd never been to, was fitting in. I really
Yeah.
fit in and make sure that I embraced everything that was around me, and that I was also in some ways welcomed and embraced by others around me, right? And so with that, I bought a bike, and I felt that I really fit in, but also at the same time, I had so much fun seeing others bring their bikes in, and we used to ride the bike from the hostels to classes and back, and to Dallu's dhaba for chai, and it was great. It gave us a little bit of mobility. That was fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
have you had any bike gang, any name kept for your gang? Anything in the bikers?
I know. Bicycle से start हुआ था, उसके बाद motorbike हो गया था, third year वगैरह में. There was quite a few of us who had our bikes, and Faisal, you remember the Splendor? It was my my dear Splendor. I still remember it fondly. I took such good care of it.
You did.
No, it was a lot of fun. We used to have a lot of rides. Motorbike लेने के बाद, we even used to venture out as groups to Delhi. I remember कि कभी weekends में, या we used to go to Priya to watch some movies, and Chanakya to watch some movies.
Never been to Hastinapur? Most sorted Meerut get to go?
Destination.
Of course.
Yes. Okay, I'll take the next question. किसी टीचर
Yeah.
के साथ जुड़ी हुई कोई इंटरेस्टिंग घटना, कोई इंटरेस्टिंग किस्सा किसी टीचर के साथ?
घटनाएं तो बहुत हुआ, right? There were a lot of memories. Just tremendous respect for all of the teachers that I had the fortune to be taught by. And those are the memories in LLRM. And it's fortunate that we're in this noble profession of being doctors. And those are the early days, right? At that point, we didn't know what it meant to be a doctor, right? We were in our anatomy classes and biochemistry and physiology, and later on in our clinical years.
Anything in particular, if you remember, sir? Because you are giving very answers very diplomatically at this stage.
Yes, I'm getting to it. So, in anatomy, there was Shakuntala ma'am. I mean, oh my goodness, Shakuntala ma'am was such a character, right? And in her amazing, English, because she had a little bit of an accent, and mixed with Hindi, she used to teach so much to us. Same thing with Vajpayee sir. Vajpayee sir was a different character altogether, right? He was strict, he was funny. He used to throw chalks at you if you're not paying attention, or if you're chatting away and not giving him the time of the day. I also remember Ramesh Babu sir. Oh my goodness, tremendous respect for him. Him and Shakuntala ma'am and Vajpayee sir, I think they were kind of this terrific trio. These impart so much wisdom on us, but also at the same time, I think I remember Ramesh Babu sir and Shakuntala ma'am in particular. I mean, they were also very human. They were so down to earth. They knew that we were coming in from different parts of the country, different backgrounds. Some of us from outside of the country even, and so I think they used to empathize a lot in their own ways. They used to, obviously teach, but more than even just the teaching, there was that empathy that I really admired about all of them. I remember memories in the, just thinking about them for a while in the dissection hall, the smell of the formaldehyde, but also right, as we were dissecting, And then Faisal, just back to memories about you as well, right? Just the drawings and the artwork that we needed to do. I enjoyed that so much, and I know you did as well. That was some of the highlights of my days at LLRM was anatomy and those drawings, the Grey's Anatomy, right? We used to look at the skulls, we used to look at the bones, we used to draw them out. I was very meticulous about putting the shadows in place and making sure that it becomes as lifelike as possible. That was a lot of fun.
It was surely. बस ब्लास्ट का इंट्रोडक्शन किसने दिया? कैसे आप ब्लास्ट में आए? That ultimately you became an editor, and for so many years you were an editor. So what was your experience, and how did you get introduced to Blast?
My memories are all getting all fuzzied up here, myself, to be quite honest. But I had so much fun, being pulled into Blast and then eventually becoming the editor of Blast. I remember, when we had conversations about Blast, there were dialogues at that point about, hey, ki logo competition karna hai, right? And I remember participating in the logo competition. Ruchi, who is my wife, we just celebrated our 23rd marriage anniversary.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. She's also an artist. And
I know.
At that point, she also submitted, a logo for this, and it was so much fun. Just those early days of putting together, the materials. One of the nice things about being an editor of a magazine like Blast is you get to, pull together different people from different backgrounds, even different batches, coming together around a singular purpose, right? Life is all about finding the right purpose and being rallied around that singular purpose. And Blast gave us purpose, throughout our studies. Itna busy tha, we had our struggles. Many of us were missing family and others, and we were going through various things in our journeys, right? These were in our early days. We were still in our youth. But Blast gave us a singular purpose. It also allowed for us to tell stories. And अभी तक भी मैं यही बोलता हूँ कि life is about stories. We're all human beings. So we have two boys, right? Rohan and Rayan. Rayan is our younger boy. He's 13 and Rohan is 16 years old. I talk with Ruchi all the time. When they were younger, they never came to us to say, "Hey, Daddy, tell me a bedtime statistic." It was always tell me a bedtime story, right? So life is not about numbers and statistics and whatnot. It's about stories. So Blast, I think, allowed for us to bring those stories together and connect us in ways that these classes and our clinical rotations and our experiences could not. So really very grateful for all of those experiences.
Definitely. So that gets the most creative out of you, and then you realize, oh, this is me as well. I can do that as well. Yeah, that's definitely. So who are the 3 people from your college you would wish to catch up now?
You're only giving me a choice of 3, I could.
Yeah, at this stage, I know you wish to meet everyone.
Absolutely. So let me maybe go by clusters of people, right? So if I think about seniors, right? Maybe seniors, batchmates, and juniors.
Yeah.
If I think about seniors, I had such amazing experiences with seniors. They opened up their hearts and their arms to me and to many of us. I particularly remember Atsang Iyer. I don't know how many if you can remember Faisal. Atsang boss, do you remember him?
I do.
Yeah. And then there was Dilip Singh. Dilip boss was amazing. Dilip Singh in particular, Dilip boss, he was very helpful for me, not just when I was in Meerut, but also Meerut ke baad jab Delhi gaya tha, he was so helpful. In Safdarjung Hospital, and he was very helpful in just guiding me along and being such a good, not just senior, but also just a mentor and a friend. Atsang Iyer, Atsang boss was helpful when I went to RML Hospital for a while. There was also Dr. Sumit Marj, and he was, I don't think got trained in LLRM, but he and I bonded through the USMLE journey, and he was also very helpful as well. So seniors, let's say Dr. Dilip Singh. Batchmates, there are so many. My goodness,
Big three. Rest won't mind, but it just tells, okay, yeah.
But so there are obviously lots of names, but one in particular I'd say is Vikas Singh, and that might come as a surprise to some that might be listening in, and it won't be a surprise to several that know me well. Vikas was such a good friend of mine, and I particularly remember his parents, who were like godsend to me. They lived in Timarpur in Delhi. और हम लोग विकास और मैं दिल्ली में जाते रहते थे तिमारपुर में, और उनका parents, they used to open up the house like it was my own house. They welcomed me into their amazing house. It was very simple. They're such simple people. And his sisters, and एक memory था वहाँ पे घर में तिमारपुर में, it's non-stop chai, like every couple of minutes. Auntie, his mom used to come and say, Rasu or chai? Sure. Chalo, ek aur ho jaye. And I used to have so much chai in their house. And him and PK Pravat and Rohit Gautam and me, we used to hang out, we used to go watch movies and whatnot. Obviously Rajiv Goyal, Ritu Gupta, Ajay Nailani, Akash Garg, all of these people, Ritesh Garg. I remember, just helping, but also just, being part of the gang, so to speak. Ankur Ahuja. I remember Asim Iqbal. I think Faisal, you might know Asim.
I do remember.
He's such a dear friend, and again, an amazing human being. And then juniors, there's so many, but I gotta say, Faisal, you're the one person I've been looking forward to getting back in touch with. It's taken us a long time. WhatsApp में
Such an honor.
thought about messages, like in almost live video, we're getting a chance to talk. So real pleasure.
Same here.
That's beautiful.
बस टीचर्स में या सीनियर्स या जूनियर्स कोई कैरेक्टर LLRM से जिसका इंटरव्यू आप देखना चाहेंगे? Is there somebody particular,
Yeah, so interviews. So I think it would be really good to interview Ashutosh Mishra from the 90s.
Yeah.
So I'm tagging Ashutosh Mishra from the 92 batch for one of these.
Absolutely.
He was such a good guy. He's married to Parul Garg, also batch from the 92 batch. And I remember Ashutosh and Parul and Shalini, a number of other people from the Meerut gang, who were almost like the local hosts for us that in different cities and different parts of the world as well. I would love to have Ashutosh on this interview.
That's good.
Good choice.
Okay, and anyone of the junior? Any junior you would like to see on the interview?
Oh my goodness, juniors mein bahut hai. Thinking back about Blast and all of the work that we did, Sonali and Archana, Sonali Kataria and Archana Gupta, I think that'd be pretty amazing to get them back up and get their memories on this interview as well.
Sure. Okay, so I'll take the next question. 3 things that the alumni should do to support our alma mater.
So really good question there, Tara. And when you had initially reached out to me about doing this and some of the ideas that you're now bringing to life, we had I think a good conversation back and forth. But one thing in particular that I'd shared with you is why not we create something called a Blast Forward, right? A platform that we could use to mentor each other, and regardless of where we are in any specialty or any geographical area, right? It could be the Americas, could be in Asia or Asia Pacific, or in Europe, or wherever it might be. So that platform to just allow for a level of mentoring, I think would be great. I think in terms of just making sure that we're able to also stay in touch and share our life experiences, I think that would be great too. Is just creating a network of where we can exchange emails and phone numbers, almost a directory. And I know you're working on that as well. So I think that'd be great. And then thirdly, I'd say in-person get-togethers. I think that would be amazing, especially on this side of the pandemic. Pandemic mein bahut Zoom kiya, and it's still good because we're so international and we're in different parts of the world and such. Like in-person meetups, I think that would be great, right? Regardless of batch, right? Seniors, juniors, and all. if we could even have some in-person meetups in various parts of the world, even that would be really amazing.
Yep, that could be something like OSA, various chapters, international OSA chapter, you can have it. So even we
Great.
this suggestion did come from Dr. Manoj Bhatt, who is currently in Australia and Queensland. He said, just make an international OSA chapter Australia and invite everybody who wants to come there, and we would host it. So we're like, yes. Then he said, then do the Gold Coast. We said, surely, spot on, we're doing that. We'll do that.
Absolutely.
That's so great.
Absolutely.
Okay, I think we'll start with the rapid fire. So that's a new question, sir, which you are not aware.
फर्स्ट ईयर की कुछ ऐसी मेमोरी बताइए जिससे मजा आ जाए सुन के कि ये आपके साथ हुआ था.
First year में ragging बहुत होता था वहाँ पे, right? Or as a nominee, I used to like both be in wonderment कि ये ragging क्या है, plus at the same time I used to sometimes participate in the ragging. And I think the biggest memory for me was बहुत पिटाई होता था ragging में, right? And people used to like get locked up in rooms, and sometimes they switch the lights off कि पता ना चले कि कोई है. I used to, as a nominee, because people didn't used to come to my room for ragging, generally speaking, right? So I used to hide my classmates in my room.
Oh,
okay.
Refugee camp.
Hide my classmates in my room, turn the lights off, right? And make sure that they're as safe as possible. Or not, I mean, you know how ragging was, but people jumping from the first floor of the NJB hostel, and going from one place to another place, and sometimes getting injured and all of that. I like, oh my goodness, yeah. So that was quite interesting.
So you were the savior of your batchmates in the ragging time.
I used to try.
Yeah, okay. So any incident related with any teacher in the college time, which is very something which you can remember and you would like to share with us?
I specifically remember, I was talking about this with Ruchi earlier, and as I might have mentioned earlier, Ruchi is my wife. We've been married for 23 years, and
yes. She
and I met at LLRM, of course, and we were thinking about this. She actually remembered this more than I did, but SPM में viva होता था, right? And SPM के HOD, I'm trying to remember the name.
Ravi Singh?
Yes, that's right. काफी tough question था. Like he put a really tough question in front of me, and in my broken Hindi, उस समय I said, "Sir, मेरे ख्याल में," and I gave the answer, right? So I was literally translating English to Hindi in my head. And his response started with, "Dr. Saab, आपका ख्याल बिल्कुल ठीक है." And I was like, and I remember mentioning that to Ruchi, and she was reminding me, she said, "You remember that incident?" I was like, "Oh yes, that was fun. That was so much fun."
So we can go towards the rapid fire, Faisal boss. So we can start with I'll take the first question. Yep. So your favorite expressive word?
Oh man, I don't think I'm able to say those words, because they'll get bleeped out. I think, "Chala ek aur chai ho jaye."
Okay. That's clever. Yeah.
So boss, आपको वैसे गुस्सा तो नहीं आता है, but whenever you are, super angry, what is your favorite word? Go-to word.
You're getting me in trouble. I can't do it.
It's okay, well, that's funny again. We understood that. Okay.
Super.
So who is your favorite senior?
My favorite senior, I have to say, is Dilip Singh. Solid guy.
And favorite junior, apart from me, of course.
Oh my goodness.
I'm your favorite.
Lots of favorite juniors. Shayal Sharma. I really like Shakti. I mean, the energy that he brought into everything, the passion and all of that, it, right? Obviously, Faisal, I mean, you're the man, and I'm so glad that, you and I are talking right now, and I have really fond memories of the things that we did back then. But how can I forget Vipru, right? Vipru is such an amazing guy. I mean, Tara, you might know him, but he's such a wonderful human being. He's such a good artist. Yes. And he's obviously a wonderful family man and a physician as well now. But at that point, I knew him well, and I loved him because of the human being that he really is and was at that point. So amazing guy. But Faisal, Vipru, and I, and there were others, we bonded because of the love for art.
Yes.
But also the love for just having fun. Yeah, I mean, that was like so much fun. It really was.
Did you propose Ruchi ma'am?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
ये कहाँ से आया?
Yeah. So I always had a lot of fondness for Ruchi, and it was towards our internship days when we had a realization ki bhai, we're going our own ways. I'm like, this cannot be, this cannot be. So I remember it was close to Valentine's Day, and I went to the girls' hostel with like a bunch of flowers, on my bike. Faisal, you remember this? I went there with a bunch of flowers, and everyone thought ki bhai, Valentine's Day, hey, this and that, but that's how I proposed to her. And we used to hang out. We used to go to the temple. I remember the Durga Mandir, right? There in Meerut, and we used to go out and this and that. It was a lot of fun. But I think it was that realization, towards the end of our time together, that, oh my goodness, agar kuch nahi kiya to we'll end up in our own ways and we won't be able to be together anymore. So that was a lot of fun. And now it's been 23 years that we've been married.
Beautiful. That somehow matched to our life story as well, for me and Nitin also. That internship was the time when a lot of my friends chose to do externship. So they left away. And then Nitin was after my life. Okay. And I was like, okay, koi nahi bacha, to hi theek hai. So yes, and मुझे लगा parents ढूंढ नहीं रहे, इसी को ठीक final कर देती हूँ, kind of a thing. So a lot of
all these stories that bind us together as well, Tara, and it's so good to Nitin.
Exactly. And most of our, I'm sure it will be similar in your batch also, that nobody knew when the story began, kind of thing, because mostly by internship people have left, then they've just seen you as friends, and एक लड़का और लड़की कभी दोस्त नहीं रह सकते types kind of a thing, situation goes into a love affair. So I'm sure आपके batch में भी काफी ये revelation, maybe your batchmates must be knowing because आपका वैसे हो चुका है, and whenever वैसे happens, all the stories on all the suspense come to an end. Yeah, that's good.
That's a really good point, and that's one more reason why OSs are important. But I remember one specific thing with Ruchi back in the day, right? I used to go to her. My grandfather was still alive in Nepal, and my grandfather used to write to me in Nepali. Right, and my Nepali was pretty weak. I think when I learned Hindi was when my Nepali improved. Right? So I used to actually go to her on my bike. We used to sit down wherever it was and request her to read his letters to me.
Okay.
Because obviously Hindi and Nepali are the same scripts, and she used to read that, and that's one more way in which I bonded with her. So I thought I'll share that bit with you as well.
That's beautiful. अब इसी बात में जो हमारा Del's Continental था, उसका भी एक question ले लेते हैं, impromptu आ रहा है. What are your memories with Dallu Ka Dhaba? Or is there any other favorite hangout place outside medical college?
Yeah, no, Dallu Ka Dhaba, that's it, right? That was Grand Central for us at LLRM, right? Hanging out there and just, catching up on stories about classes, about cheat sheets, about getting tips for how to survive the next Viva, or getting cheat sets and tips on how to survive the next exam and all of that. Now, Dallu Ka Dhaba was great. I think it was therapy for us.
Yes,
it was
definitely.
Therapy sessions, right?
Yes.
We didn't know that mental health and therapy was so important at that point, but that was it.
That was kind of a community group session, the group treatment.
Exactly.
CBT at Dallu Ka Dhaba.
Group therapy, yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right.
And okay, now I'm getting some impromptu questions from my mind. Okay. What about your, you ever played in SMCT? Any one of your favorite game? Other than cricket, because cricket was main, but still in the SMCT we used to have various forum of games,
I'm trying to think back SMCT. I remember bike rides and all of that, but I can't quite put my finger on the pulse there.
Okay, and in the stimulus, any of the event, whether it's Damsharats, Mad Ads, or what used to be there more, Extempore, Was any of
Stimulus
the...
was a lot of fun. I have vague but special memories about Stimulus. About fashion shows and
Yeah.
and all of the fun that we had at the Stimulus days. That was a lot of fun. It really was.
Now, Blast Rapid, any memorable encounter you still remember which you have seen during your Blast time? You would read in something like any kind of secret name. Alex, somebody said RSTD, and we used to have Abba Dabba Jabba. And this time we are having Kachara special, and then we're having different names coming up. Any interesting encounter?
Okay, Tara, let me tell you.
Faisal, go ahead, please.
We used to get a lot of anonymous encounters for Rasu boss.
Sure.
Jeez. I have zero memory there. Like,
you would like to ignore that.
Selective.
Yes. And any fan following, Faisal boss can correct. After knowing that bike and then Splendor and with all that thing, I'm sure there would be a big fan following of different juniors as well.
Of course, decent, good-looking, senior.
Oh please, Faisal. No, it was fun times. It really was. That's what college is for all of us.
No, we are asking precisely. We're asking precisely. Faisal boss, you can tell which batch was which batch was much sorted after Rasu boss.
I think 96 batch and 97 batch.
Wow, that's it. That's the teaser material.
It must be my age, Faisal. I am like forgetting all of these things that.
Are you holding any of your Blast magazines? Because I have few Blast magazines, and I think even Ashish Rana boss. I showed an encounter to Ashish Rana boss that it was somebody wrote for him like for Ashish in abbreviation, dashing this and that, and I sold him for 25,000 rupees. I said, you're gonna give me 25,000 rupees, I'm gonna send you that encounter. He was surprised that there was an encounter for him. So then I sent that encounter, and he never read that, So Rasu boss, there would be some hidden inspirants for you.
We should dig that back up or not,
or not.
Or not. But we, I do have two logos, one that I made and one that Ruchi made. I think this was for Stimulus.
Wow.
And we had like a logo competition at that point, and still have that somewhere. But yeah, I'd love to dig back up on the old Blast.
There used to be like hundreds of encounters. I'm sure people would have missed them, and because while I was scanning for the Throwback Thursday, I could read some encounters. Oh God, ye bhi tha. Who is this?
It actually created a committee which was a moderation committee. So those who encounters had to be filtered so that there's peace and tranquility in the campus.
That's funny.
So, आपका favorite song और please आप हमारे लिए उसे गुनगुनाएं.
Arey, you're putting me on the spot. So Kajol was my favorite actress. Shah Rukh Khan is Ruchi's favorite actor. I'll go with Tujhe dekha to ye jana sanam, and that's it.
Oh man.
Thank you. Favorite teacher.
Again, just such amazing teachers through and through. I guess Ramesh Babu sir. I mean, he was बहुत अच्छा था. He's so good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
बहुत बड़ा ही एक और आपके लिए tough question आ रहा है.
Uh-oh.
Consider ma'am is not listening.
Consider ma'am is not there. And who was the BLT of your time? Who was your nerve supply? Who was your nerve supply?
Of course it was Ruchi Kapoor. That's the reason we ended up together. Yeah.
How diplomatic.
So there's always a list, there's always a list. So you can say 3. You've been so generous so far.
It was a very short list.
One and one.
The one thing that I do wish would have happened is I wish that she and I were together earlier. And we always had a mutual admiration for each other, and we were really good friends right from the beginning. But we didn't really start quote unquote seeing each other until later on. And I wish we'd actually done that earlier on, because we're all coming from different backgrounds, different areas. We were all struggling through medical school in our own ways. And when I think about now the 23 years that we've spent together, like, man, थोड़ा start हो गया होता ना तो कितना अच्छा होता।
अमेजिंग। बॉस, आपके टाइम पे आपको किसी से इंस्पिरेशन मिलता था कि भाई ये कितना टैलेंटेड है, चाहे जूनियर हो सीनियर हो, आपके बैच का कोई हो?
You know, I used to get
That
a
you
little inspiration from a lot of people. Faisal, I got to tell you, just looking at you and you know, thinking about all of the ways that you used to, you know, bring your talents to bear, whether it was in the way that you approached anatomy and surgery. I know you're a very successful plastic surgeon right now, but also in your artistry, a lot of amazing things that you brought to the table. So for me, you know,
full disclosure, you have always been a role model for me. Full disclosure.
very kind, very kind.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, your favorite movie dialogue?
Favorite movie dialogue. A lot of people will remember ki, you know, at that point I used to, you know, watch a lot of Hindi movies, but a lot of English movies as well, right? You know, a lot of people will remember Kajol was my favorite heroine. At that point, there were a lot of, you know, Kajol and my wife Ruchi. She loves and still loves Shah Rukh Khan. So there are a lot of Shah Rukh Khan and Kajol movies. I can't remember any particular dialogue, but those are the actors and actresses that, you know, we still have a lot of fondness to. I don't think there are any movies that Kajol makes anymore, but Shah Rukh Khan is still like churning out hits after hits.
So boss, about EBlast, what are your views? आपको क्या लग रहा है कैसा काम कर रहे हैं ये लोग? This is of course something which has blown my mind. So what do you think about it?
You know, it definitely, you know, in pun intended here, it's definitely blown our collective mind as well, the blast, right? I think it's great. It is such an important body of work, especially on this side of, you know, where we are, you know, so used to using technologies like Zoom, and, you know, we're online all the time, and we're all over the world, you know, not just, you know, all over, you know, various parts of Meerut, all over the world. So I really like the concept of EBlast. I think, you know, you guys are doing such great work, Tara and team, in continuing to push forward with that and creating a sense of camaraderie across the LLRM society globally.
Yep. Thank you, boss. It's all under guidance of you all our great seniors, because we always look forward to 5 seniors above and then juniors follow us. So, but it wouldn't have been possible without the support of everyone, because Blasters, Meerats, we all have so much soft corner for this thing, and just to reconnect again. So this was the more, you know, So thank you for having this tradition which we followed. And I'm telling you, even the kids today, like we would say kids, but they think they're grown up. So the current batches also do have their blast. They have in a little different format, and we've shown them our old blast, and we have shown them now, let's mix up, let's match to today's technology. So they're also liking it very much, and the current batches. The difference is, we used to call them encounters, they call it gossip. It's in the Insta page. They call it gossip. So the trend is still running in the college, and we are connecting with them also. So even the current batches, we are connected with them, and very soon you're going to see them as well in this forum. They're going to carry it forward. So they are looking forward to it.
That's wonderful. Great work.
Yep. Okay, sir. Now, I just would like you, if you could do an appeal to all LLMites to connect with the EBlast.
Yeah, so I know that we're all busy in our own lives and our jobs and, you know, our own families, but you know, this is such an important effort that you are leading here. Yeah, you know, I tell my 2 boys all the time that regardless of who we are becoming or who we have become, regardless of what we're doing and what stature and position that we're in right now, we always have to be connected to our roots. And what, you know, EBlast is doing, and what you guys are doing, is you're connecting us back to our roots in the medical school that gave us a kickstart to our journey forward in life. So let's, you know, pay homage back to those roots. Let's make sure that we're able to reconnect back and relive those memories, but also at the same time, you know, come back together as you know, fellow LLRMites.
Thank you.
It's such a pleasure talking to you, boss. It was so good to connect to you, boss. OSA 2023 में आने के लिए आप you are most welcome, and I would try my best to attend as well. I would just ask you to just just put an appeal to everyone to attend the event.
Of course, Faisal, the one thing that I'm missing right now as I'm looking at you is coming and giving you a big hug, an actual physical big hug. And those are the types of things that you can only do when you're in person. So I don't know if I'll be able to make it. I hope I'll be able to make it to the OSA 2023. But the appeal goes out to anyone and everyone who can make it, to make an extra effort. We talk a lot about how time nahi hai yaar, bahut busy hai yaar, bahut distractions hai, bahut commitments hai. Life is all about making choices, right? And intentionally prioritizing one thing versus another thing, right? And planning for it. So abhi to time hai before the OSA 2023. So prioritize kar lo, plan kar lo, and hopefully we'll be able to meet there and see each other and shake our hands and hug each other and be in person.
Yep. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So we are concluding this session of this amazing interview with Dr. Rasu Shrestha, and it was Rasu Bikram Boss, if I'm right. And I think the EBlast is connecting all alumnites, and it was a great talking to both of amazing seniors in front of me, and I'm feeling honored as well to share the screen with both of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
you.